Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. Can you all hear me, please? Hello. Can you all hear me, please? Okay. Thank you so much. So my name is Muhammad Abdul Qadri. I'm a program manager for the Nupe Tech community. I welcome you all to this edition of our NTC Tech series. So before we start, please, I would like us to briefly introduce ourselves in the chat box, please. Let's introduce ourselves. Let's talk. Let's tell us where we are joining from, what we do, our tech skill, what we intend to learn from this, and where we are joining from. Please, you can use the chat box for that, please. Let's do that, please. Let's introduce ourselves, our name, where we are from, and where we are joining the NC Tech series from. Thank you. Once again, I welcome you all to the Nupe Tech series. So today we'll be having a very dynamic tech expert with us, the name of Mr. Umar Madugu. So the Nupe Tech series is a dynamic and engaging event series whereby we bring experts from different tech field to us about the field and how we can learn and be able to use technology to aid our own field too. So today we are having Mr. Umar Madugu with us. So Mr. Umar Madugu will be talking on sustainable technology that is building a greener future through education technology, exploring innovation in education for a better future. But before we hand over the mic to our capable speaker, we would love you to actually introduce yourself. Use the chat box, tell us where you are joining from, tell us your name, and tell us why you are joining, what you intend to learn from this tech series. Once again, let me introduce our speaker. So our speaker is Mr. Umar Madugu, who is the Chief Technology Officer at Tespire LLC. Now, the Tespire LLC is an Abuja-based company that deals with using AI and other technology to aid education. They provide AI solutions for schools, for teachers, for students alike, so that they can actually use technology to contribute effectively and create a better future. So thanks so much again for joining us. So Mr. Umar Modagu, are you there? Can you hear me, please? Hello, sir. Mr. Umar
Hello,
Modagu,
Mohammed.
I'm sorry for the pronunciation. Please correct me if I'm pronouncing it the wrong way. It's Madugu or Madugu, right?
Yes, it's Madugu.
Thank you so much. Thank God I pronounced it well. So we welcome you today, sir. We thank you for being here with us, and we hope and we know we are certain that you'll be able to take something home from your talk this evening. Please, sir, if you are ready, you can start with your slide. And I think we're all ready. I'm actually anxious. I want to learn a lot about this education technology. It's something I've been wanting to go into, but thank God we have here today to take us through it. Thank you so much. You can have the floor now, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Mohammed. It's an honor speaking today. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. So can we all see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes, sir, you can see your screen.
Okay.
Go on, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. So thank you. So good evening, everyone. Um, my name is Umar Madugu, like was introduced earlier. So today I'm going to be speaking about sustainable tech, building a greener future through EdTech. So in summary, what this talk is going to be about is for us to look at how technology um, combines with education to give our planet a greener future. By greener future, we mean protecting it from environmental hazards that come from um, uh, the carbon footprints um, leading leading to the carbon emissions we have from various activities we carry out, as well as felling of trees. So before I start, as the program manager has said, everyone introduces themselves. So let me just introduce myself further. So of course, my name is Umar Madugu. So I'm a software engineer to begin with. I'm also into cybersecurity. Um, I'm an ethical hacker. I'm also a Web3 enthusiast, specifically in the area of the metaverse that has to do with virtual reality applications. And of course, I'm also an EdTech evangelist, which is why we're here. Um, so that's just brief of my professional life. So without wasting too much time, we'll just dive right into what brought us. Like I mentioned earlier, EdTech is simply the fusion of technology and education. So what EdTech means is the use of any electronic or digital means to deliver educational content to students and to also be delivered by teachers using digital devices. So today, since we're talking about how all of that affects the environment, we're first going to look at the environmental impact of the traditional way of education, the classrooms we have um, currently. The current setup that we have is a situation whereby we have classrooms with teachers, students, everyone is seated on a desk and receiving lectures either through chalk or whiteboard markers in the more modern ones. So these traditional means that we're used to, um, we have come to discover that it has a lot of environmental um, hazard, and this has always been the case, but it has a lot of people have been skeptical in moving to alternative means and trying out alternative ways of approaching education, primarily because that need was not there. And unfortunately or fortunately, the COVID happened in 2020, and that was what really brought out EdTech to the world. During that period, as we are all aware, everyone was forced to be indoors, and the only way life could move on was going virtual, going digital. So, from this diagram here, we can see a general overview of various activities that contribute um, to the carbon footprint of our schools in general, and the traditional education practices we have. Um, so there are primarily two parts to this. The first part is the part where our activities contribute to the carbon emissions to the atmosphere. And the second part is the part where there's a lot of um, falling of trees in order to accommodate the various materials we use in our teaching and learning. Specifically, we're talking about trees. So from here, you can see that transportation, commuting, and purchase of goods have primarily contributed to the carbon emissions to the atmosphere. So some of these hydrocarbon gases that you see um, going into the atmosphere, they are called greenhouse gases, which ultimately affect the climate change that we've been talking about, especially being advocated by the UN. So it has been it has been said that in order to meet up with demands of paper and pencils and general school materials, even into furnitures. According to the United Nations, it's estimated that about 8 million trees are being fallen for that purpose annually. And this translates to over 30 million hectares of forest being lost to that act of deforestation. and out of that, only 36% of that is for paper, which we use in our writing and reports and everything, as well as 42% into pencils and other writing materials. So a lot of these has created a lot of environmental wastages. So even the process of making these things, the papers, the pencils, also has other wastes generated, such as the sludge from the process, uh, as well as some gases also being emitted into the atmosphere. Um, Transportation, as we all know, the cars we drive to school, the students drive to school, the teachers also commute to school either through bike, car, or whatever means, also contributes to all of this. The energy, electricity that we consume, the source of electricity is also another concern um, that contributes to the carbon emissions to the atmosphere. So all of these combined has come to give a very huge negative impact to the environment, coming from just the education sector alone. And this has always been a worry. But in 2020, when COVID happened and people were forced to actually try out the alternative that has always been preached, which is the EdTech, we saw the impact of moving to the EdTech area of education. So, moving forward, we are going to discuss briefly um, the various digital platforms that have come to mind to reduce the carbon footprint. By reducing carbon footprint, it means they reduce the emissions to the atmosphere, as well as also reduce the amount or number of trees being fallen annually. So some of the things we are going to talk about: the virtual reality classrooms, the infrastructure, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, asynchronous learning, gamification, and esports. So a lot of us previously, when we hear edtech, the first thing that comes to mind, of course, is the e-learning platforms. So yes, e-learning has but it has gone very much deeper than that now, um, with innovations in technology that have come on. So today we have virtual reality classrooms where you're not just using the computer or going online to a website or something. You are actually being present in a classroom while being in your comfort zone, be it at home, be it in a co-working space, wherever you feel comfortable. The student feels comfortable, the teacher feels comfortable. They can be where they are, thereby eliminating that need to commute to wherever they are going, which will take away the carbon emission from the cars or bike or whatever means they are using to commute. Um, Using the virtual reality also eliminates the need for excessive use of the paper, since a lot of your data will be digitally transmitted and stored. Accessibility is also enriched, um, because now the days that you don't feel like going out, or you're just a little bit under the weather, you're not strong enough to go out, but you're strong enough to just stay up and listen as we are doing now. So that has given that more accessibility to knowledge generally, and of course, because there's no longer more need for paper and all of that, there's less waste generated. So virtual reality classrooms can come in form of the e-learning platforms, can also come in form of the um, metaverse. Some schools have introduced um, a special kind of Zoom, whereby you use devices such as headsets um, to actually be present in a classroom. So it's a situation where you have your headset on, and I think Arizona State University in the US, they do use this. They have this special platform where you can use your VR device, and you'll be present in a classroom along with your teachers as if you are actually in a lecture hall receiving lectures, and you'll be seeing your other classmates, seeing your teacher, virtually receiving lessons while just being in your room, in the comfort of your room, and doing other things. Um, yeah, so that's for virtual reality classrooms. Um, Talking about the energy efficiency of our infrastructure, like I mentioned earlier, even the source of power powering um, a lot of the traditional school activities is considered harmful and toxic to the environment because of the kind of gases and waste that is generated from it. Um, for example, the gas flaring that comes from the other sources of energy. So one of the green energy sources that have been advocated for EdTech has been um, the solar energy, which is known as it's a green energy and a great source of energy everywhere in the world. Uh, the advancement in technology also has also brought about devices that have less um, energy consumption. So as we are using solar energy to power your devices are also requiring less energy, thereby overall reducing um, the emissions to the atmosphere, as well as prolonging the reuse of such devices, thereby reducing the wastage associated with learning. Then we have the artificial intelligence, where this offers, like I mentioned earlier, this offers personalized learning to students, where a student, the AI can learn from the student's way of learning. So, say for example, he has been given a module, and um, there are engagements on how to use that module. So artificial intelligence can learn how the student is actually assimilating that knowledge and give him content that will be much that the student could easily consume and learn from, which also saves time in his learning. One prominent example of such AI is the Cogni service. It's an artificial intelligence tool for personalized learning. Uh, this also contributes to other things I mentioned earlier, the carbon emissions and the reduction in waste. Now we are going digital, and a lot of people will argue that, okay, in traditional education, things like results, things like assessments, and the rest go digital, and they get hacked, unlike the paper platforms where Once it's written and it can be hidden away without being tampered with. So the recent innovations and improvements in cybersecurity has brought some of those fears today. Example is the K-12 Cybersecurity Act, which is a cybersecurity act that provides guidelines to schools, basic schools especially, on how to protect their data and how the data can be stored and accessed. We have the blockchain technology everyone is most people are familiar with, where you have immutability in data and tamper-proof storage of your data. We have other guidelines like the GDPR, Global Data Protection Regulation, and the NDPR, the Nigerian version of the guideline, where it also specifies how data generally is stored and accessed. Um, so we also have the asynchronous learning. So this asynchronous learning also has features of e-learning to it, where you have the self-paced learning. So an example is the likes of Udemy, the likes of Coursera, and the rest of them, where you have the opportunity to learn at your own pace. So you can come back, the course could be 15 hours, 20 hours course, and you can decide to complete it at whatever pace you're comfortable with when you're available. It's similar to um, the part-time programs we do nowadays physically, where they come in weekends and have their learning. So it's also another digital innovation that has replaced such forms of learning, which also reduces the carbon footprint from educational activities. And finally, we'll talk about the gamification and esports segment, where innovations in EdTech has brought about gamification in learning, where especially basic school students are given digital platforms that teach them through the use of games. So a student could be playing game, for example, but in that game he is asked to spell something before he can run. Probably it's a game of car racing, and for him to continue to move and continue to speed, he must continue to spell some words that are displayed on the screen for him. So that adrenaline that comes from, okay, you want to play the game, you want the car to move fast, and a word is pronounced and you want to spell it, and that interest that it brings to the child, that he wants to learn and he wants to learn it quickly. And children, um, they learn a lot through games when they are playing and they are having fun and enjoying the learning. Um, so this is another innovation that has brought about um, a replacement in the traditional way of doing things, and also saving the environment of carbon emissions. The esports segment is also similar, where there are some segments of the sports that can be done digitally are also converted to the digital platform. So most of these things will be seen as great, right? Because we have talked about the advantages and the benefits to the environment, and how they help the environment and the future stay green. But again, they also have their own other side, and one of such sides is the e-waste part of it. So we talked about the traditional paper making, where we have sludge and the rest of the other wastages that come with paper production or pencil production. Um, for EdTech, where you deal with devices and the rest, you now have a problem of e-waste management where, okay, you've had a device, you've changed it a couple of times, and how do you now discard it? Because a lot of the devices are not biodegradable devices. So it has now brought about that problem to the extent, according to research, in recent times, over 40, uh, 40 million tons of such e-waste is generated yearly because of the advent of EdTech. Now, some of the solutions that have been preferred to this has been the recycling of such devices where manufacturers have this provision for what they call it, buyback option of their devices. So instead of you just throwing it away and disposing it off in garbage, you sell it back to the company. They take it, refurbish it, and recycle the parts professionally and reproduce another device. So rather than you throwing it away in the environment and it causing other harms to the environment. Um, so those are some of the measures that have been introduced in managing this. Another is also introducing uh, environmental sustainability curriculum in the curriculum of schools. Um, so things like modules on environmental conservation, renewable energy, and the rest um, are introduced in the curriculum of students, both in the basic school and the tertiary education, so that students can be well informed about the effects, uh, and consequences of some of these activities they carry out in order to help in sensitizing them to also go green and use some of these um, edtech platforms that are available in order to keep our environment green. So, in keeping our environment green, it means we reduce the number of trees we fall, and we also reduce the number of carbon emissions we do to the atmosphere, thereby protecting um, the climate change advocacy by the United Nations globally. Lastly, we have the collaboration and crowdsourcing part. So technology, of course, has already provided that global space for collaboration. So with technology and the internet, um, the EdTech platform allows you to be able to collaborate and crowdsource for information and knowledge, thereby eliminating that limitation that you have to physical and traditional education that we have today. Yeah. So has actually been tested by some people from schools. Um, One of those schools is the Arizona State University in the United States. So it's a school, like I mentioned earlier, they have a virtual reality classroom platform where students are able to use headsets and attend their classes as if they are in an actual classroom, and several other innovations. We have the Singapore's Smart Nation Initiative, who also have had a lot of innovations, various in the education sector. We have the Green School Bali in Mexico, where they do everything green. Even their schools are built around green areas, and they use everything natural, um, in the sense that they don't even have fences with blocks. Rather, trees are planted to serve as walls for the schools. That's how green they make their schools. So they call them the Green School Valley initiatives. In Nigeria, here we have the UBEC Smart School Initiative that is trying to build smart schools and have some of these EdTech technologies, implanted in the whole school and education process. And of course, at Tespire, we also have been trying to contribute our quota in this area by also providing innovative AI approach to the students' learning experience um, by providing insights to students' learning abilities and capabilities and forecasting and predicting better ways of meeting or getting the students to learn better, and several other things we do. Because of time, very limited, yeah. So I think I will just, as a conclusion, I would like to say, from all we have said, it is clear that for us to maintain a green future through EdTech, it is important for us all to put and join our hands together to adopt EdTech technology over the traditional means of technology. It begins with you and I. The government has a role to play. It took COVID in 2020 to force us into EdTech adoption. But I hope, I trust that we shouldn't need any other such calamities to force us into going greener, or using better alternatives in future. So thank you, everyone. I'm honored to speak, to just give a brief um, talk on some of these things, and it has been an honor speaking. And if there are any questions, I think you are welcome to do that. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Umar Madugu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Umar Madugu. I have learned a lot with this short presentation. I've learned a lot, so much from ed technology. Like education technology is not my field, but now I'm actually feeling like I should start learning so many things about it. Like it's looking juicy to me. Maybe I should just drop my own field and go to education technology because of the presentation you just made. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. You are very, very lucky to have you here as an expert. So before you ask the question, like I said earlier, this I will ask the question and you can ask your own question in the Nipotech community WhatsApp group. Because of time, we don't have much time. So I have some questions listed down here. I have my questions here. So let me ask him the question so he can quickly answer the question because of our time. So my own first question, my own personal question. The first question is that, can you hear me, sir? Are you with us, Mr. Umar Madugu? Are you still with me, sir? So my first question is about distraction.
Yes, I'm here. Go ahead.
It's about distraction. You've explained the advantages of technology. Yes, sir. You've explained the advantages of education technology, and we have all heard you, and we are actually like pumped to start to adopt smart education. But my first question is distraction. Don't you think if we go virtual and start learning from online sources, don't you think that students will be distracted? What's your take on that, please? Thank you, sir.
Okay. Do you want to ask the questions first, or I can answer?
Okay, I think I should just ask the three questions first, so you can just answer the questions together. So my second question is about the cost of education technology. You mentioned how we use the normal way we used before, like the ancient way, the use of chalks, the use of board, the use of chairs, and so on. So if you want to adopt education technology now, if you want to go into smart education now, don't you think it will raise the cost of tuition because you're now looking at using AI, using computers, using systems, subscription, and so on? Don't you think it will raise the cost of education? And now my third question is about the rural area. What do you think we can do to our rural areas, areas that are not even connected to electricity? Talk more of network. How do you think we can adopt this technology to like education too? So those are the three questions I have for now. You can answer the questions now, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, I've had two questions.
Okay, now the third question, if I can
Okay,
ask again, the third question is about connectivity. I'm asking concerning our rural communities that are not even connected to the electricity. Talk more of being able to use network. And like you mentioned, what technology actually requires network and electricity. What can you do? What do you suggest you can do to actually give them the chance to connect to smart technology to improve their own education? Thank you.
okay. Thank you very much. So, the first question, about distractions, using some of these platforms. So, like I mentioned, it's a matter of giving the students now, that privilege to choose, where it will be best for them to actually learn from. So there are students who the classroom are actually even a distraction to them. They prefer to learn in isolation. They prefer to learn in their homes, in their natural habitat, so to speak. So when you talk about distractions, it's subjective. What might be a distraction to one person may not necessarily be a distraction to another. So that flexibility that the virtual platforms provide are what actually endears them to a lot of people. So if you are going to be having distractions in from wherever it is you may be learning from, um, you of course have that choice of changing either a location or the means of learning. So again, it's your choice. So uh, then, to the issue of raising the cost, because of all of these devices and so many other things, computers and the rest. So one thing with technology is that there's that economy of scale. So, for example, in the traditional way of learning, you have to provide chairs, you have to provide computer and power that will serve every single person um, in the school, right in the school, right? But in the case of the EdTech platforms, you have that economy of scale whereby you just have a single platform that is central and where um, all of the students have the opportunity to just use, even share a device from their locations. And it will be much cheaper for everyone because now you don't have to commute to the school. Now you don't have to um, buy some of all of those extra things that you will have otherwise needed in a traditional school. Um, in the edtech sense of it, you just need one single device that is digital and you virtually do everything. You store, you write, you you do everything. You take your assessments, everything from a single device. And like I said, the economy of scale, you get to get that at a cheaper rate. Um, then the connectivity issue. So it's one of the things, even in Tespire, um, we have encountered, and one of the things we have done is resolving that is um, trying to adopt um, satellite internet. So, in as much as there has been a major breakthrough in internet penetration to local areas, so but for those very remote areas that till now MTN, Glo, and the rest have not been able to get to, the use of that satellite connectivity, satellite internet, um, is what bridges that gap. So they might not have the super speed internet they need or they want, but it will serve them for the purpose of educating them and going through all the educational content they need. So satellite connectivity is one way we have approached in solving that. I hope that answers it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Umar Madugu, for your answers. I think many other people actually have questions. I can see hands are being raised, but we will not be able to take any more questions because we still have to discuss our NTC scholarship. So please, if you have a question, you can join our WhatsApp group, the NTC community WhatsApp group, so you can ask your questions, and our speaker, our amiable speaker, will be in the group to answer all our questions. Even myself, I have so much question. I have questions that are left, but because of time, please, can we please ask our questions in the WhatsApp group? So for now, thank you so much, Mr. Umar Madugu, for your time, for taking us through the education technology and sustainability. So now I'll use this medium to tell us about the Nupe Community Scholarship 3.0, which is going to start, which we are going to flag off by January, inshallah. The Nupe Community Tech Skill Scholarship is all about empowering 1,000 youths in the Kinupe. That means people that are in Niger State, in Kwara State, and Kogi State, basically Nupes. But then you are not only trying to empower the Nupes alone, you are trying to empower any youth, be it, even if you are Igbo, Yoruba, or even if you are from another country. We are set to empower youth using soft skill and tech skills. So what we have for the tech skills scholarship 3.0 is we have so many software that you can pick from. We have front end development, we have UI/UX, we have back end development, we have project management, we have graphic design using Canva too, and we also have data science. So if you want to benefit from this scholarship, you can join the Nubitech community WhatsApp group. We are going to share the link to apply for the scholarship very soon. I think we try to drop the group link here on the chat box so you can join the Tech Skills Scholarship 3.0 and be able to benefit from the scholarship. So the scholarship is actually just to empower our youth. We want the Nupes and the youth to actually benefit from the soft skill that's flying around. We all know people are actually making a lot of money from this tech skills. So we don't want our people to actually be left out of it. So we will drop the link very soon so you can join, so you can have the chance to benefit from the Tech Skills Scholarship 3.0. The Tech Skills Scholarship and the Nube Tech series is brought to you by the Nube Tech Community and Quality Resources. So we are actually grateful to our experts for taking us through the rudiment of technology. Thank you, Mr. Umar Madugu. Okay, now I think we have our link now in the chat box. Please check the chat box. Check the chat box to connect to the Nube Tech community. And the I think the second link is actually for the scholarship 3.0. Mr. Isaka Mohammed and Mr. Mohammed Al Hassan, if you have any question, you can ask your question in the Nube Tech community WhatsApp group, please. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Now, my question is about the relationship between the greenhouse gases and technology, as in computer related activities and some other things like that. Then, secondly, what should be the effect in teaching and learning? There is always this kind of eye contact between the teacher and the learner. Once this eye contact is not real, is now virtual, don't you think the learning process will be somehow not achieved or not giving the expected outcome, the learning objective not being achieved at the end of the teaching and learning processes? Then another question is about uh, what the adverse effect of introducing tech to teaching and learning process. We end up losing this kind of relationship, everybody living individuality lifestyle of a thing, and then we forget about coming together to do anything in common, stuff like that, and then the environment become very easy to attack because we are all online. So when we have a very powerful cyber attack, it affects everybody, and everybody just go blank, and we don't have any solution except another person comes up with another solution. Have we think about that aspect of life also? How it's going to affect us negatively as regard attacks when everybody is just online? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Isaka Muhammad. I think our speaker have had all your beautiful, beautiful questions, but unfortunately, he will not be able to answer online now. I think we have actually added him to our community WhatsApp group so everybody can actually benefit from this your beautiful question. Please join the WhatsApp group using the link in the chat box, and our speaker is already in the group, so he will actually answer your question there in a written format. Or you can actually use voice note instead, so all of us can actually be able to learn from the answers.
Thank
Thank you
you
for
very
that
much.
question, Mr. Isaka Muhammad. So, Mr. Muhammad Alasan, can you quickly ask your question in 2 minutes before we?
No question.
Mr. Muhammad Alasan, are you there?
I
Okay,
am
okay,
here.
okay. Ask your
I will
question.
just drop my question right away in the WhatsApp group. I think with that it's going to be
Thank you very
yeah.
much, Mr. Muhammad Alasan, for that. Our speaker is actually in the group right now. You've added him to the group. Okay, sir. You are saying something, sir. So you be in the group to answer all our questions. Myself, I have so many questions to add about education technology because it seems to be a very new field in the technology space, and I think it's one thing that we should all know about and be ready to adopt. Thanks so much, Mr. Umar Madugu, for your time. We appreciate you, and we are actually very lucky to have an expert like you speaking to us this evening about sustainability and education technology. I have learned, and I know every one of us here that have listened and followed it through, have learned quite a lot concerning technology and education and how we can actually improve our education using technology. Thank you so much, Mr. Umar Madugu. Once again, I think we'll be going to our community WhatsApp group now to ask and answer questions. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.